Hey everybody, this is Helen Mitas, and today I'm so excited that I'm interviewing one of my personal heroes, Sheila Granger. I've always said that anyone who hears me speak about the people that I look up to and the people that have really pioneered the path for so many of us in our profession, I always talk about Sheila Granger. So welcome, Sheila.
Thank you, Helen, and bless your heart for saying those things.
Oh, I mean every word. So Sheila doesn't need much of an introduction. She is from England, from the United Kingdom, and she is the founder of the virtual gastric band system. And here at HypnoFit in Bulleen, myself and all our hypnotherapists here are virtual gastric band practitioners. And she really has revitalised the industry and led the way in the way that she does things. And I'm so happy and honoured that Sheila Granger will be presenting, of course, at Hypnobiz Australia in March 2020. So I'm so happy about that, Sheila. So not only is she presenting a presentation, she's also going to be doing a post-conference workshop as well. We'll talk about that in a minute in terms of what she's going to be covering. But first of all, Sheila, I just want to ask you, tell us about how you got into this amazing world of hypnosis.
I sometimes, Helen, to be honest with you, I sometimes wake up in the morning and think, how have I ended up here? You know, how did this happen? I wasn't at school thinking, when I grow up, I want to be a hypnotherapist.
No.
We kind of fall upon this profession in some way, either from a positive experience ourselves, or we know somebody else who's had a positive experience. And, in my previous life, I worked for 20 years for the government. And I was a fraud investigator. So, I investigated people who weren't quite as disabled as they claimed to be. And, my job was to get the government's money back. And it sounds really negative, but probably on some level, I was probably already, using hypnosis because I just didn't realise it. Because I see hypnosis in a way as high-level communication skills. And, I was building rapport with people that I was interviewing, and they were giving me the information that I wanted. And I'd leave an interview and somebody would say, oh, thanks ever so much for coming to see us. Thanks ever so much for coming to see us. If you ever pass in and you want a cup of tea, that's my nice British accent coming out. If you want a cup of tea, just come in and see us. And I think, do they not understand that I am actually going to take them to court? But I was probably using it on some level, and I've had this interest in how people think, how the human mind works. And I saw this hypnotherapy training course and I thought, that might be interesting. And I was a little bit of a serial course goer. So I was a librarian. I liked going on courses and learning stuff. And I went on this course and I never intended to do anything with it at all. That wasn't on my agenda. The job I had, it could have been a job for life.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if I saw a couple of people a week and I charged them 50 quid a session, then at the time I was getting a divorce as well. So there was only myself and my daughter at home, and there was only me to pay the bills and the mortgage and everything else, all your other commitments. And so I thought, well, that might be a bit of extra pocket money, go towards paying the bills. But then I noticed the difference that you make to somebody's life. And when somebody turns around and says, you have completely changed my life, that inner feeling that it creates and that passion and that drive just makes you want to do more and more and more and more of it. And I'm still living that place now, because although, I'm known for virtual gastric band, I take hypnosis into every single area in my community, into businesses. I did a BBC News thing with the homeless people because I knew that, all right, I can't change homelessness, but I can give them the confidence to take a step in a different direction.
Yeah, and it all starts with a step, right? It all
starts with that step. And so, sometimes, although, people say to me, well, you've done a lot, I built a private practice in a doctor's office, seeing 35 clients a week from a standing start in under 2 years. With no business or marketing knowledge, I just kept taking another step.
Yeah.
And also, I think, it's about, we're seeing opportunities. So not necessarily thinking hypnosis as in terms of, I can help this person stop smoking, I can help this person lose weight, I can help this person with anxiety.
Yeah.
There are so many different avenues that we can take it into. And, only this week I've secured a couple of more clinical trials. So I'm very much evidence-based. I like to try and provide an evidence base to something. And the local hospital, they've just got £1 million for developing a better programme for cancer patients, and they're looking at put that hypnotherapy element into it. So
wonderful.
Yesterday that was agreed. But then the other really bizarre one as well is another one's gone in for apparently at my local hospital they carry out like thousands of amputations every year. Thousands.
Wow.
Which I would never have known about, never even thought about. And it's all to do with artery disease, hardening of the arteries. And people get something called intermittent claudication. So they get lots of pain, and so they stop walking because of the pain. But by doing that, they're actually making it worse, and they're going to end up with an amputation. So if we can do something to change that mindset and almost power through that type of pain, then actually it's going to reduce the level of amputations. And again, I think, well, hypnotherapy could probably help with that.
I love it, Sheila. And, we've got to say, as a spokesperson for other hypnotherapists as well, that we are so grateful for this work that you do, this evidence-based work, which helps us, present ourselves as a credible profession, because we have the evidence to support what hypnotherapy does, and you've done that. So thanks very much for that.
You're welcome. It's just about, it's working from the heart all the time, isn't it? You've got to work. And I think I noticed a post that you put up recently, Helen, and it's so true. It's, if we work from the right place, then, I think the universe somehow has a way of paying us back. And, obviously to start with any profession, you're almost going for a niche market. So, gastric band was my niche market. But there's also lots of times that, and if you put a niche market into place, again, opportunities seem to open up because people want to see you as a person.
Yeah,
exactly. I couldn't believe how it worked out to begin with. So if you've got a niche market, then it's not just your local community, it goes much further afield than that.
Yeah.
So what starts local suddenly becomes global. And when I first did Gastric Band, it was madness. I had people getting on planes, flying into London, getting a train from London to where I am to have sessions with me. And I think, well, wasn't there a hypnotist a bit closer? And when you look at doing sessions online and how much the internet has, exploded our ability to reach more people. There was one lady, I was doing sessions online with her, and her Wi-Fi kept breaking down. And she said, I must get my husband to send you some more money. And I said, well, you don't owe me any more money because we haven't done the sessions that you're supposed to have yet. And she said, she said, well, why can't I just pay for you to come here and do the sessions? She lived in Florida.
And did you go?
And I went. I was on the plane the following week. A nice hotel in Daytona, and I went, how has this happened? How has this happened? You sort of think, it's only me, And I think sometimes as well, we think we have to be, perfect ourselves as a person in order to put ourselves out there. We have to be, the best at everything, and we really don't. We just have to be ourselves because people buy you as a person more than anything else.
Exactly. I always say, Sheila, perfectionism keeps us in the slow lane, and I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that new therapists, existing therapists, and experienced therapists make, is that they're waiting for something to be perfect. At the end of the day, if our intention is right, and you know, we believe with all our heart we can help our clients. We can help our clients, and we're not brain surgeons, so we don't have to be that precise. You know, everything will work out the way it's supposed to work out, and just trust.
And you know, it's about putting ourselves out there, because you know, if people don't know about us and what we can do, then you know, how are they ever going to think, well, maybe there's a solution to this problem that I've got?
Exactly.
You know, you know, we're not seen as the regular solution, are we? And I think
not yet.
No, we're working on that.
Yeah,
we're working on that.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. But you know, we've got to sometimes as well. You know, we've got to put our big girls' pants on. You know, when I first started up, I've been qualified for 1 week. And, you know, I don't know if you have like a local, you know, newspaper still. I know there's so many things that are digital now, but
we do have local newspapers,
So I used to buy my local newspaper, and I've been qualified for 1 week, and I wasn't a really good student. I didn't do lots of practicing. You know, we should do, but I didn't, I have to admit. And there was a plea for help, and it was a lady who'd hiccuped for something like 6.5 years continuously, and she'd been everywhere, and you know, was still hiccuping. So I rang the newspaper up and said, I'm a hypnotherapist, because I got a certificate that says I am, and I think I might be able to help that lady. So I'd like to offer her a complimentary session. Could you just tell her if she's interested, just ring my number and I'll arrange it for her. The following day, the newspaper rang me back and said, you know, we'd like to bring that lady to see you, and because she can't drive, so we're going to bring her, and we'd like to film it for our website. No pressure there then. And Helen, there was nowhere in the hypnotherapy training manual that told me how to work with hiccups. You know, and you know, the lady came, the cameras are rolling, and I'm counting from 1 to 10, thinking, is there an angel in this room that is going to suddenly tell me what to say? Because I'm now at 9 and I have absolutely no idea what to say to this person, because there was nothing in the manual about it. So I just thought, just go with it. Just go with what you think you should do. She stopped hiccuping during the session, and she never hiccuped since. And the following day, you know, the newspaper wrote this full-page spread of, you know, what a change expert I am, etc., etc. But just from, you know, working from the right place.
Yep, absolutely.
But also, you know, being brave enough to take that step. So, you know, if you see something like that, it's a case of taking action on it, and, you know, and just seeing where that leads. And it's amazing where things do really lead to. So I used to do, I still do a fair degree of presentations and talks locally in my community, because it spreads the word. And, you know, one of the things was I was talking to a client, and a lot of things can come from our clients. And this particular client, she had something to do with a little kids sports team. They were teenagers, and they were about to play they wanted to move up the league. They were playing this team of big lads, but the previous year they'd been absolutely annihilated, 11-1. So she said they're going into this thinking, what's the point? We're going to be absolutely, you know, annihilated again. So I said, why don't I come and do a couple of sessions with them? I said, just to help out. So I went and did these sessions. They were your typical teenagers. You know, if I said it was black, they would say it was white.
Yeah.
So I just got around it. I just said, do you kids want to know how to hypnotise somebody? And they're like, yeah, I want to hypnotise him, you know. So I got them on board. Anyway, just did a couple of sessions, nothing complicated. And they went into that game. They didn't win, but the score was 5-4. Big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Of course.
The local newspaper wrote an article about it. The national newspapers feed out the local ones, so the biggest selling newspaper in the UK in the lead up to the Football European Championships took that little article to how much of football is a head game. The #1 radio station in the UK rang me up for an interview. And then also the international newspapers feed out the British newspapers. So the Times of India, of all places, picked up this article, and the headline was Britain's leading hypnotist. I'll wear that label, thanks very much.
Of course, and it's basically because you put yourself on the line and
Exactly.
you saw an opportunity for you to help.
Yes.
And you had the right intention, and then everything falls into place after that.
Yeah, and it is about just work. And, when we work from that space with expecting kind of nothing, just doing our thing.
Yeah, not being attached to the outcome.
No, absolutely. So I didn't go into that thinking, well, if I do that, then we can do this, 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 and this. It was just, I might be able to help out there.
Yeah.
And I always think as well, what is when I put myself out there, like the stuff that I did with the homeless, what is the worst thing that's going to happen here?
Exactly.
The absolute worst thing that's going to happen is nothing will happen. And so what? I've tried, so nobody can ever criticise you for that. And I think, one of the fears can be, but what if you don't work? What if you don't work?
Exactly. It's like when I did a stage hypnosis show in the United States, which I really didn't want to do, and quite frightened about doing it at a college campus. And I thought to myself, well, what's the worst that can happen? Either they're going to laugh with me or they're going to laugh at me. So either way, they're laughing, So what's the worst that can happen? And
I always think, well, they don't have to see me again if they don't want to.
Exactly. Your story resonates with me so much, Sheila, because I also had a local article in my local paper, literally weeks after I qualified, and I was put up as a depression expert. So, and when you have an article that's not an advertisement but an article, and you say yes and you do the story, so much comes from that. And so that's going to be the topic that as well.
It is. Yeah, and it is about saying that yes, even if you are not 100% sure of, because if you've gone through hypnotherapy training, you probably have all the skill set that you need in multiple areas.
Yeah.
And people tend to think, oh, I need another therapy course.
Yeah.
Whereas probably what they need is more of a business course and the confidence to then get themselves out there.
Yeah.
And actually then, go and do the do, because it's only when we start thinking, okay, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm just going to give that a go and just find out. And, with the newspapers, when you've done a couple of articles, they tend to come to you when there is something. And they came to me once and they said, do you do anything with past life regression? And again, I'd not been qualified very long. It's just that I'd had a couple of articles. And I hadn't done anything with past life regression, not one single thing. And I said, oh yeah, that's really popular.
Which it is.
It is. It's not really a lie, is it?
No.
They said, well, would you do something in people's houses, a bit like a party plan type of thing where, you'd go around and regress everybody at once. And I said, that's very popular at the moment. And so they set something up in somebody's house and they said, how many of these have you done? And I said, I don't know, quite a lot, 35 maybe. I don't know, not any. But, it's all right doing that as long as you can deliver the goods, which we all can.
Exactly.
And so, they organise.
That's important because they need to have confidence in you for
Yes.
there to be a successful outcome.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And again, I thought past life regression, what page was that on the hypnotherapy practitioner training diploma? What page was that? Because we can all do it. It's just being brave enough, and I say, is it brave or stupid? I don't know. But it's been, brave enough to just go and do it. So again, with that double page article in the female section of the paper about past life regression parties. And at the time, I still had my day job. I was still working, and my manager called me in and said, I didn't know you were doing this party plan type of work. And I said, well, I'm not. He said, well, it says here you've done 35 of them.
When did you do it?
So you believe everything you read in a newspaper. But, it's just, the opportunities are there all around us. And it doesn't, the city where I am, it's a fairly deprived city, actually, you know, and, you know, there's not a lot of, you know, spare cash around for the majority of the city. But that hasn't stopped me building a business right here by simply, you know, going into every single area of my community and just picking stuff up and becoming known in that area for what you can do to help people.
Absolutely. And I 100% agree with it, because when I first started my business, I didn't spend any money on Google ads, on Facebook advertising, or anything like that. It started with the local community. That's where it all started. And you know, the Google ads people would call me and they would say, "Oh, are you interested?" And I would say, "Oh, I'm doing really well. Can you call me in 3 months, or can you call me in a month?" They keep calling me, and then I just said, "Just don't call me anymore. I don't need you."
Yeah, we want everything to be perfect. We think we've got to start off, and I want the all singing, all dancing website, and I need this, and I need that.
Yeah.
You know, I built my practice on a one-page website. I don't know if you have Vistaprint in Australia. It's a really cheap way of
we do.
Yeah. So, you know, with Vistaprint business cards. That's how I started my practice.
Same.
Nothing else at all. You know, and then, yeah, of course you reinvest it at things of, you know, building bigger and better as you go along.
Exactly.
And
once you have the money, you reinvest it. So tell me, Sheila, I want to ask you, because we were discussing this offline previously, and we were talking about the fact that many hypnotherapists out there, they're interested in doing therapy courses, but when it comes to the business part, it's almost like, oh, I don't know about that. I just need to get my confidence up by doing another therapy course. You know, but the fact is, if they don't see clients, then their confidence will never be there.
Yeah.
So why do you think they do that? Why do you think that hypnotherapists and therapists are generally so, you know, not wanting to do business training? They only want to do therapy training.
I think partly it is that confidence, but also I think the other side of it is, you know, it's so much more interesting, isn't it? You know, to learn more about therapy stuff is so much more interesting and magical. You know, some of the processes that we have in place with therapy, you know, they're just magical, aren't they?
Yeah.
And, you know, so that is so much more of a draw than it is to, you know, go and learn about marketing or go on a business course. I've actually personally found it's flipped the other way now, in that, you know, I'm like yourself, Helen. You know, I invest heavily in my business, in my own personal development. You know, I belong a you know, business mastermind group, which is actually nothing to do with the therapy world. They're all CEOs of big businesses. That's my mastermind group, because, you know, I want to learn more about the business side. You know, we don't know what we don't know, type of thing. But it's only by learning the marketing or learning the business side of it that we can actually build a sustainable business. Because otherwise, you know, you can do a one-off thing. So if you did Facebook advertising and you brought in, you know, 5 new clients, and you work your way through those 5 clients, and then all of a sudden you've got no clients again. So it's like, oh, what do I have to do to bring more people in? Whereas if you'd actually learnt the business side of things, there aren't those massive roller coasters. You know, you can build a sustainable practice. And I think as a profession, if it's to higher level of our profession in the public domain, we almost need to be, you know, we have to keep providing evidence, unfortunately. People always want that, you know, well, what's the proof that it works? And we have to keep providing that evidence side, but we also are duty bound to build professional practices that have longevity attached to them.
Yes.
So that they know you're going to be there tomorrow, there in 10 years, there in 20 years, because only when we bring that hypnosis on the high street, and that is a sustainable and is seen as a business, that's when we become a real profession.
Yeah. Totally agree. And in your presentation at Hypnobiz Australia in March 2020, your topic is about exploding your business with the use of the local community. So can you tell us a little bit about what participants are expected to get from your presentation at Hypnobiz Australia?
Yeah, so with that, because I've worked from that place all along about community stuff, there are multiple avenues to how you can become known in your community. We've talked about Press Today, and as part of people coming to that presentation, they will automatically get, $5,000 worth of professional written press releases.
Wow.
That they can go and immediately, rub out the name Sheila Granger and write their name on it, and it covers almost every single area of your practice.
Wow.
From birthing to charity events to all sorts of things, but also sharing all those different ways that we can access our local community, that we can become a known. And we can start to, when we're building our practices, I view it a bit like, in the jungle, they had the Rain Man. And when they wanted it to rain, the Rain Man would dance. And he danced until it rained. And with our hypnotherapy practices, especially when we're starting off, we need to dance enough until it rains.
Yes, I love that.
We need to scatter enough seeds, and sooner or later, all those seeds start to grow. And you think, and then you get like me, and you think, oh my goodness, what have I just created?
Yes.
Let's wait for the avalanche.
Yeah. I always say that too. It's like when the momentum hits, it hits. So many hypnotherapists say, oh, but it's not working. But once that ball starts rolling, it just And then you're going to have a different problem, and your problem is managing your time, managing your energy, and that's a high quality problem to have.
Yeah. So people will come away with so many golden nuggets and light bulb moments. That's what a lot of people say about who've listened to these kind of presentations with me before. The light bulb moments are just phenomenal. Things that aren't complicated, things that they will be able to go away and do the following day without any further training. Just think, I can do that. Because everybody can. I always say, there really isn't anything special about me at all. I've just worked at it, and I've just kept seeing the opportunities and thought, well, can I make a difference there?
Yeah.
And if I think I can make a difference, why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Love it. And so tell me, apart from your presentation, which is incredible value and I know that everything that you do is enormous value. So just going to any of your workshops, you'd be crazy not to go and see Sheila Granger when she's presenting, because she gives value. What are you going to be? You're also going to be presenting a post-conference workshop, so a whole day. What are you going to be covering in that day, Sheila?
So with that day, that is going to be a full day on marketing your practice. So of course my 1 hour presentation is purely going to be about community areas. But then on that one day, we're going to drill down into how is it that you go and give a presentation and convert that to clients. What are the process steps that you need to put in place to make that happen? We're also going to be going into a lot more detail about how you can get the press and media engaged with you in multiple ways, from getting journalists to come and test your program to, how do you make that happen? We're also going to be covering some of the online stuff as well. So there's a huge training manual that goes with it that people can take away and kind of work their way through. But it's almost a marketing and business degree in one day.
Okay, sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. Crazy not to do it. Absolutely crazy. So I want you to leave us with something that, if you were to say something to a hypnotherapist or a therapist, a psychologist, anybody out there, what would you say to them? What would be a key takeaway for them?
Are we talking about hypnosis here? Are we talking about anything really?
Anything that comes from your heart.
I think obviously, Helen, you're aware of it, but other people watching this might not be aware of it. But 7 days ago, I broke my elbow.
Mm.
And, you know, if I'd still been employed, I would have been off sick for 6 weeks, the full healing time, because they would have been paying me to do that. But, you know, I haven't had taken a single day off with it. I was supposed to be delivering a conference in Vegas right now, and that's the only thing I stopped, that aspect of the travel. But what it showed me again from this experience is that, you know, we are capable of so much more than we believe that we are.
Yeah.
And of, you know, overcoming obstacles and doing even better because of it. And this has been a timely reminder for me, this fractured elbow, that, yeah, it's made no difference to me. It's made no difference. It hasn't stopped me. And, you know, we can just achieve so much more than we believe that we can.
Love it. And I did know about your elbow, and you're absolutely amazing. Even though you haven't gone to Vegas, you, like you said, you're doing these interviews, you're working away, you're still, you know, going about your day and your business and showing that it's all here. That's where it is.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And, you know, we sometimes just get those, you know, say, reminders that, yeah, that there is so much more and what we're capable of. And again, talking about opportunities, when I saw them at the hospital, in the doctor at the fracture clinic, you know, always talk about what you do. And we had a huge conversation about pain and what that really was. And, you know, and again, it generates interest in what we can do.
Yeah, yeah. Always. There's always an opportunity. Everywhere you go.
Always an opportunity.
So, Sheila Granger, thank you so much for getting up especially early in England.
You're welcome. It's been really nice talking to you.
And like I said before, Sheila Granger is a featured presenter at Hypnobiz Australia. She has so much to offer. You'd be crazy if you didn't come along. So make sure that you come to the beautiful, beautiful location of the Gold Coast. Have you been to the Gold Coast, Sheila?
I haven't. I can't wait.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's just incredible. It's just so beautiful. So we're going to be at the Gold Coast, March 2020. Tickets are selling now. Accommodation is going to get booked out. So we have a really great deal with the Mantra Legends, which is at the heart of Surfers Paradise. Literally, the beach is on the same street and in the hub of it. So we're right in the centre. We're not in some suburb somewhere. We're right in the hub. That's the conference that we want. High vibe, best speakers in the world. As you can see, Sheila Granger right here. So make sure that you get your tickets. Is there anything you'd like to say, Sheila?
Yeah, I mean, the conference sounds amazing, and to have, you know, so many speakers in one place where, you know, the value that people get out of coming to a conference like that is just immense.
Yeah.
Because, you know, all presenters come from a slightly different angle on things, and everybody's different. And, you know, what I can pretty much guarantee from, you know, going to a conference like this is that, you know, the stuff that you will come away with is just, you know, invaluable to your own development, to your practice, to the ideas that you come away with from a conference. So I can't wait, and especially if it's in a gorgeous place as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheila Granger. Thank you.